What's up everybody, Tommy Har with the real side of real estate, and in today's video I'm going to talk about a comment I get a lot, which is how do you find the money to flip houses or do the BRRRR method. So we're going to be talking in this video exactly how we've raised money to not only flip houses but also do the BRRRR method, keep assets with little to no money out of your pocket at all. Without further ado, make sure you like this page, subscribe to this channel for the real side of real estate so you can make some cash. Alright guys, so I'm standing in one of my fix and flips that I bought for $420,000 right here in Columbus, Ohio. We are done with our framing. We still got to do our electric. We've done our plumbing. We're kind of in the middle of what's called the MEP process of this house, which is going to be getting this thing up to code, making sure the wiring, the plumbing, the HVAC and all that stuff is what it needs to be before we start buttoning the walls back up. But the general theme of this video is going to be, how do you find the money to fix and flip these houses? So I bought this house for $420,000. I'm going to put about $120,000 into it, and I'm going to sell it for $650,000 up to $700,000. So how is that possible? How can you find, what is that, $550,000 to buy, renovate, and sell a house? Isn't that risky? Isn't it scary? All these things. And the answer is yes. It's not the easiest thing to go out and let's say raise private money. So private money is going to be somebody you know that has cash that lends you their money in the form of a loan to then renovate the house, buy and renovate the home. So for this house right here, now I do have private money relationships that would give me all that money, but I like to stretch my private money over cheaper houses. So I like to use them on the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 house, or let's say $100,000 to $300,000 unless I don't have a lot of deals going on. But what I did in this scenario was I mixed a private money loan with a hard money loan. So a hard money lender, and I'll kind of show you guys a little bit of this house as I'm talking so I don't bore you to death. So a hard money lender is a lender that only lend to investors. That's it. So these lenders, they know what they're talking about. They know how to underwrite the deal. They know what you are looking for as well. So hard money lenders are going to be an actual company. A private money lender is a person. That's the biggest separation that there is. Private money lenders are not going to be on Facebook or social media talking about, hey, I lend money. They're going to be people that have cash and they know you personally, whether it's family or friends, whether it's a work colleague, whether it's an aunt and uncle, whether it's somebody you met on social media. I raise a lot of cash from people just like you guys right here on YouTube. So the hard money lenders are institutions that are typically Wall Street backed. So they have massive conglomerations of money. They have syndications, they have funds. So they raise money. They then deploy that money to someone like you or me. So that way you can get these actually are a little bit cheaper than private money lenders, but there's certain stipulations. You need to have appraisals, you need to have inspections, you need to have what's called draws, which are when you do raise the cash, they don't give you the rehab money right away. So if I just did my framing or my plumbing like you see right here, I would have to call the bank and tell them, hey, I'm done with my framing, give me my $5,000 that we had in my budget. So you have to send them your budget, you have to send them your underwriting, you have to send them all those things. They take a look at their underwriting team and then they will go through their legal team. So they're a big company. So there's goods and bads, and that's not really the purpose of this video, but I just want to let you know that there are goods, there's bads. So for this property specifically, and the way that hard money works is, it depends on the lender, and if you guys need a good lender, drop a comment lender, or I'll put it in the show notes, connect with my team over at Turnus. But what you do, like very common real estate terms are going to be 12% and 2 points. So loan origination fee of 2 points and then 12% interest. And then on top of that, they're gonna make you put 10% down. So of the purchase, so 10% down, 100% of rehab. So they're gonna give you every dollar of this, but 10% of your down payment. So in this scenario here, for $420,000 purchase price, I had to come up with $42,000 plus closing costs and their fees up front. So let's call it $50,000. So instead of looking at a house like this and saying, I could never buy that because either I don't have the cash or I don't know people with the cash, you talk to a hard money lender who give you up to 90% of purchase, 100% of rehab, and then you just got to go find somebody with 50 grand, or 2 people with 25 grand, or 3 people with 20 grand, right? Like, it's a lot more feasible thing to do. So if you're in a higher dollar market and you're like, I found the best deal ever, use a hard money loan, but you got to understand too that when you do these hard money loans, you have monthly payments. So 420. Let's say I got my loan here of it wouldn't be 420 because of 10% down. So let's say their initial one was so let's say $380,000 is my initial loan times 0.11, usually about 11%. So for the whole year, if I hold that loan, it's going to be $41,000, 41.8 divided by 12. That means my monthly payment to this bank is going to be $3,483.33. So every month that goes by, I'm paying this bank interest to use their capital. So they raise it at like 6 or 7, they then lend it at 11, and they make money by arbitraging other people's cash. That's how banks work. So I'm servicing this debt. So let's say I come through in this house, I framed it up already. I've done my plumbing here. I've done my HVAC. So my plumbing's done, my HVAC's done, I'm waiting on my electric. Let's say my framing was 5 grand, let's say my plumbing was 10 grand, let's say my HVAC was also 10 grand. So let's say $25,000. As a private money loan, I could get that all up front and have it in my bank account. For hard money, I have to then send them pictures, or they send an inspector out to say that it's done. So let's just say that I have a $380,000 loan immediately, but they also, they call it escrowing. They escrow $120,000 for my rehab. I just did 25 of it. So my loan amount then bumps up. You only pay interest on drawn funds, which means that when they give you money, you start accruing interest on that. If I have a loan of 380 plus 120, which is 500, you're not accruing interest on $500,000 total. You're only accruing on what you've done. So let's say 380 plus 25,000, 405,000 times 0.11 divided by 12. So now my interest payment, once I draw that out, is $3,700. So as I accrue more interest, or as I do more work, my interest payments are going to go up because I'm pulling more money from the bank. So the one thing that people always do when they're using hard money is they're always what I call is chasing their tail. So you have to pay the framer. Like, this stuff's all done. I've not done a draw for this yet. So this stuff's all done. The contractor's already been paid. So you're always paying money out, and you're always having the bank come in behind. So what I would do in these scenarios, if you can, is when you do your private money down payment, and also Turnus, my hard money lender, they will do 100% financing if the deal's good enough, by the way. So I only speak really in generalities because I get deals with people and certain things in our community, but let's assume that I bring $50,000 down. Why not raise $75,000 or $100,000 from a private money lender to then get ahead of it and also be able to service your payments? So if you don't have much money and you're worried about that, raise a little bit more cash, because they do what's called like a fall off method. When you raise your hard money, let's say I have a $120,000 rehab like this one here. If I use 100 of it and I've got $20,000 left, if I don't use it at the end, it does not hurt me. It just goes towards my principal. So that is a great way if you want to raise private money ahead of time for the end to knock it off. That's just what you need to do. The next thought is, if you don't like chasing your tail, we also did demo here. So the beginning of your rehab, front load your draws. So like I said, framing, demo. So what we did here is we demoed out this closet. We also demoed out this closet. So demo costs money, dumpsters cost money. So we probably paid $3,500 to demo this house. Make that $8,000, make your framing instead of 5, make it 10, and recoup your capital. You can also recoup your down payment faster that way as well, and use that money to service your debt. So for those of you on the comments, hopefully if you're watching this video, you actually want to learn this stuff. It's not as hard as you think to find the cash. It's harder to find the deal. When you find a really good deal, the money will follow. You just gotta know where to look for it. So I've got hard money lenders. Drop me comments in the show notes. Use my hard money people. Private money is gonna be personal relationship, guys. Family, friends, colleagues, networking, social media. The people have money are out there. There's so much money out there. I mean, it's more of a mindset thing than anything. And you got to, like, you're doing the right thing right now by educating yourself, but you need to then start taking some actions. Go find a really good deal and partner with somebody. They bring the construction, they bring the financing. Get your foot in the door rather than trying to do it all yourself, guys. Because once again, when you're raising capital, you are the risk in that scenario. You are the person, like, if you've never flipped a house, you don't know construction, that's the risky part. That's why these lenders jack their terms up. That's why they don't lend to beginners, because you don't know what you're doing. So take a really good deal like this and give it, and don't give it, but partner with somebody, 50-50. And that's what you should do. Yeah, when you are learning about this, you're going to meetups, you're watching YouTube, start talking about you learning about this stuff and you doing this new avenue, this new business venture. Because closed mouths don't get fed, and if you don't tell everybody what you do, like, this is my life. I've been posting about it every day for almost for 5 years intentionally. Before that, I was just posting on my Instagram stories. So, like, once again, closed mouths don't get fed. You're not gonna get money if you don't ask for it. So this house right here was a 2-bed, 1.5 bath. We've turned this into a primary ensuite, which you just saw me walk through. This bathroom right here was existing. So this bathroom is the exact same. We're just plugging and playing, updating our plumbing, updating our electric. The bedroom over here is the same. So that would make it our 2 beds, 2 baths. And we got a half bath down here. So kitchen will be here. Took out a wall, removed some ductwork. We'll have a big island running this way, kitchen going around the corner here. It's gonna be a nice house. This is an A area, very, very nice part of downtown Columbus. More expensive than most neighborhoods here. Got a half bath here. And then what we're doing, this isn't really the concept of this video, but value add construction. How does somebody take a house that has 2 beds, 1.5 baths, make it a 3 beds, 3.5 baths by not also killing the design and also raising the value of the house? A two bed, 2.5 bath, or 2 bed, 1.5 bath in this neighborhood would have maybe sold for like $550. But now, since we're doing all these things you're seeing, we're gonna sell it for probably close to 700 grand. Okay. Down here, we've got our basement framed out. We added this, what's called an egress window, which is a fire escape, which allows us to call this room down here now a bedroom. And then over here, we have a ensuite. So this is now an ensuite bedroom. Our plumbing is all opened up. This is what you want to look for. So this is perfect. We've got our plumbing down in here. We've got to, I got to call in my inspections here. So I got to get my plumbing all roughed in and inspected by the city. And when they're done, I get to button it back up. And this will be another added living space, square footage, and also a value add for a family. So 3 beds, 3.5 baths, sell for about 700. So if we put it all together, 700,000 times 0.94. So that's gonna be 5% for realtors. Actually, I'm gonna give you my real numbers. 945, because I pay anything above $350,000, I pay 1.5% to my agent. 661,500. That's after my closing costs and my realtor fees, minus 120 of rehab, gets me down to 540. Minus, I bought it for 420, so that gets me to 121.5. And guess what? I'm not added in yet. interest to my lender. So I said I'm going to be right around $4,000 for my hard money a month. And then let's say there's an extra $500 a month for the private money second. So $4,500, let's just call it $5,000 a month. I've owned it for a couple months now. We're working on it a little bit slow because we got a lot of other stuff going on. Let's say it takes 6 months start to finish. So 5 times 6 is 30,000. 91,500, and then I paid a point origination fee, which is going to be $4,200. Let's call it $5,000. So we're now down to 86,500, and just for shits and giggles, I'm going to take another $10,000 off the top of that for closing costs, miscellaneous junk fees. So it looks like we should make about $75,000 on this house if it sells for $700. If we spend 6 months on it. So if it sells for $650 and we spend a bunch of extra months on it, it's not going to be that good of a deal. So time is money with these rehabs. When you're raising capital, you can't be messing around. You got to make sure you find good contracting, good help, and you work efficiently and effectively. So that's the real side of real estate. If you guys want to learn how to raise money, I highly recommend going to the show notes, clicking on that, having a conversation with Cody over at Turnus, and hopefully that'll get you over the hump and start taking action instead of being fearful about the money side. So like, subscribe this page for the real side of real estate. Peace.